Here are 15 of the best Ask Reddit stories for today. I hope you enjoy and remember to subscribe. It really helps us out. We post new videos every day.
Secret codes are all around us that only people in the know recognize. When I worked at a supermarket many years ago, we had code 12 which was called on the speakers if they saw a very attractive person in the store. The code would also say where so, for example code 12 bread. 437737 means herpes in online dating. I saw a profile of a girl saying she has 437,737 cats and thought I'm sure that number has some significance. Apparently if a person puts that number in their profile it means they have herpes and they want to let people know without getting embarrassed. The Jeep wave. I rode in a Jeep for the first time a few weeks ago and got waved at a few times before I asked what was going on. When dealing with the Japanese, that will be very difficult means no. In Indonesia, whenever you're dealing with anyone working in the government, police officers, custom officers, airport security, etc., when they start talking about how strict the rules are or how they need to meet some sort of quota, that means they're expecting a big bribe. I tend to play dumb and go, oh, okay then, I guess I'll just have to throw this thing out, go to court, not bother getting this document. It's fun watching them panic and try to find a subtle way of asking for a bribe without saying they want a bribe. When you're on a Windows computer, Alt F4 will unlock the extra core, letting your computer run way faster. Editors who grew up filthy rich, what did you think was normal till you learned otherwise? My family was broke as hell, but my mom was, and still is, a teacher at this really nice private school which was the only reason my brother and I could attend. Everyone's parents were doctors and lawyers, they had a lot of money, they used to go on school trips and spend hell a lot of money there. You get the idea, but my brother and I were being raised by a single mom who had just relocated. We were living in a trailer park in the middle of nowhere for the cheap-ass rent. We didn't always know when the next meal was coming. One day, during lunch, the kids noticed that all I have is a peanut butter sandwich and a tiny bag of pretzels. One dude says, "Wow, you must really not be hungry." Since I was 6 and just as clueless to any other lifestyle as he was, I just straight up told him, "We don't have any more food." I had to explain it a couple of times before he realized. Lunch bro sheepishly asks if I would like some of his food. That orange and baggie of Cheetos were the start of a now 20-year-long friendship. I, 31 mil, took my terminally ill friend's virginity before she passed. Today is her 1-year anniversary since she passed and I can't stop thinking about her. She was my friend for 6 years. Her cancer came back aggressively. She told us she doesn't want to go through chemo again, so she planned to enjoy the time she had left. Before that she was also kind of a homebody who was only close to a small group of friends, which was us. One night when we were all drinking she admitted to me she was still a virgin but she doesn't want to lose it to just any stranger, at least somebody she trusts before she goes. That person was me. She didn't force me to do anything I didn't want to. She asked but was willing to drop it and pretend it never happened if I decided no. We decided to make it extra special. Got a nice hotel room, got those fake candles all over the room to make it more romantic. Was the first time I ever had sex with someone I loved but wasn't in love with, if that makes sense. It was still a very intense experience, not in a bad way. There was still lots of emotions. Even though she seemed so happy she got to lose her virginity to someone she trusts, part of me wonders if I did take advantage, if I was wrong for saying yes. It's just hard because I miss her so much, but I'm still glad at least I got to give her something before she left. Taxi drivers, what's the deepest secret you've overheard in your cab? Don't drive anymore, but I used to drive in Memphis. I would sit at the Peabody on Friday and Saturday evenings, usually got the elite but not above taking a cab folks. One evening, the parking lot was packed. I mean, the valets were so far behind, I could barely get my cab past the other cars to get in. I'm keeping an eye on the concierge at the door, so I can see when he waves me over. I'm looking, and who comes out the door but Steven Seagal? The concierge waves a town car down to the door, Seagal gets in, and it takes off. I'm kind of in awe, because that's the second closest I've been to a celebrity type. 5 minutes later, I'm contemplating leaving, when the concierge whistles and waves me down. I pull up to the curb, the concierge opens the back door, and this older-looking gentleman gets in, maybe in his 50s, wearing a duster-length wool coat, holding a handkerchief over his mouth and nose, and a Kangol hat. I figure he's got a cold, no big deal. I ask where he wants to go. He gives me an address in a nice residential area on the other side of the city. I pull out of the parking lot, start the meter, and ask the guy how he wants to get there. He asks which way is better. I tell him going through town is cheaper, but taking the loop is faster. He tells me to use my best judgment, so I start going through town. About a third of the way there, he asks if I saw Steven Seagal earlier. I told him I had, and I wished I could have taken him. He lowers his handkerchief, and it's Steven freaking Seagal. Turns out, he had sent a double in the town car. We talked a little about this and that, and when I dropped him off, he handed me $100 and told me to keep the change. It's the creepiest thing that you've seen other families do that they accept as totally normal. I went to this guy's house once after school. I wasn't friends with him, but we were assigned to a project together. We'll call him Gary. Anyways, we were working on this project when he excused himself to use the restroom. 15 minutes later he returned. A little while later, I decided to use the restroom while he was making snacks. I walked into the bathroom and behold, before my eyes, floating like a manatee through the brown estuaries of Florida, was the result of Gary's earlier bathroom excursion. I shrugged it off. I mean, we all forget at least once, right? Flushed for him, took a leak, flushed again, and went to work on the project. Gary's mom gets home from work a couple hours later. She nods to us and says hello politely before heading towards the back of the house. A few seconds later she returns to the kitchen where we were working and screams, "Where is it?" I jump and I'm confused, so I shoot a WTF look to Gary. Gary muttered it wasn't me, it was the Cosmic Costa. His mom glared at me, huffed, and walked out. Gary later explained that every day after school he would take a dump and was required to leave it in the toilet so his mom could check it. He wasn't even sick or anything. She just wanted to check it to make sure he was healthy or something. I never went back to Gary's house.
Guys who actually bought the
You won't last 5 minutes playing this game.
game from the ads from Pork, what was it? What happened? Was it a scam? I got curious with the same question one day, so I input fake credit card info from that fake name generator website into a few of those sites. From what I can tell, this is what they do: steal pornographic content from artists and sites to use on their scam site and for ridiculous eye-catching ads. Lead site visitors with false promises and ask for credit card info. If credit card info is obtained, usually an error screen will pop up saying something to the extent of "Sorry, we're scheduled for maintenance" or "Our site is having problems. Please check back later," which is just to cover up the fact that there is no site and it's all a front to trick you into giving them your credit card info. They are an absolute cancer, and any pork site that allows ads from these vile scammers are scumbags. Looking at you, P-Hub. Took 10,000 bees 25 years to make the honey you just wasted. Takes 550 bees to make about a pound of honey in 2 to 3 weeks. Where'd you get those numbers from? I made them up for dramatic effect. Man, you still have the MacBook Pro? Yeah. What's the lowest you'll take? Lowest I'll go is $700. $200? Sure, why not? Okay, where do you want to meet? 101 Main in Burlington in about 10 minutes? Sounds good. Hey, I'm here. Cool, head inside. Into the comedy club? Yeah, then head up on the stage and tell your jokes to somebody else.
/mildly interesting. I bought some suspiciously perfect bananas yesterday. The corrosion on this water tap looks like a map. This furniture hardware is sorted by step rather than by type. The Korean taco place we got takeout from gave us a roll of toilet paper with our meal. My college used to be a shopping mall. Our refrigerator has revolving levels so you can reach everything easily. I made a hidden glow-in-the-dark galaxy in my resin kitchen floor. Dopped my headphone at the beach and it pulled iron out of the sand. My 100% complete collection of every Lego shield ever made. Our cat Mia rests her front paws on her tail to keep them off a cold surface. My neighbor's house encased in ice after the recent blizzard in Ohio, on shore of Lake Erie. My friend's phone case blends in with this 1982 school library circulation desk.
Girls are always complaining of period and cramps. If only you girls knew what we boys pass through during sperm production. This is what we go through twice a month: sperm pains, but we don't talk. Guys are brave.
Cutest mistake you've ever seen someone make. Little girl in the grocery store was having an argument with her parents. She looked like she was maybe 4 or 5. My husband and I round the corner and this girl looks at us, then her parents, then us, and comes running down the aisle. I'm going to go live with them and they will be my new mommy and daddy because you're mean. My husband adores kids, and I'm very obviously pregnant. We smiled at her parents and they said, "Oh. Well, Mr. and Mrs. New Dad and Mom, good luck with her," before turning their card and walking away. The girl gets this brief panicked expression and I shouted, "Hey, wait." Parents turned around. Does she have allergies or anything? Nope, she's healthy as a horse. She does need a nightlight though. Oh, that's too bad we don't have nightlights. This girl let go of my husband's shirt tail and hauled back to her parents so fast she looked like a cartoon character running. I don't really need that toy. I love you. You could tell she really reevaluated her choices up to that point, and it was adorable. A few months ago my 6-year-old little girl was eating dinner. She let out a burp and said, "Fart on me." I waited a minute and asked what she said. She explained, "I said fart on me. It's what you say when being polite." Me and my wife smiled and told her it's actually, "Pardon me."
What's your most embarrassing Christmas story? My girlfriend's parents invited us for the week of Christmas. We got there late the first day. The next day we got my girlfriend's sister from the airport. After that we hung out around the house, making cookies and helping decorate the house. I was playing Christmas music through the surround sound. Later I went to bed while the rest of the family were finishing decorating the living room. The house was full of people. I got into bed and thought I would relieve myself real quick. I went to my go-to video, Old Reliable. The only problem was my audio didn't work. I kept jacking with it, turning it up and down, trying to fix it. I turned the phone all the way up and I could faintly hear it. Then I realized I wasn't hearing it from my phone. I was hearing it from the downstairs living room. I was playing through the surround sound. Worst part was I skipped right to 7:30 into the video. After I realized, I turned my phone off and went to bed. My girlfriend came in shortly after to inform me I was connected to the surround. The next morning was the most awkward day of my life. Luckily, this didn't ruin our relationship. We ended up getting married a few years later. At the wedding, her father stood up to say a few words. He said, and I quote, "May this marriage be as strong as his Bluetooth signal." Reddit, what's the loneliest thing you've done? When I came back from Iraq in 2005, I had been over there for well over a year. Flew all the way back to Germany and got to Frankfurt late. We jumped on a bus and drove to the base we lived on, and it was snowing outside. They herded us all into this gym and we stood there on the basketball court in formation, and they released everyone to their families. I remember standing there watching all these people, who were my only family, go to their real families and leave. I didn't have anyone there. I just turned around, picked up my ruck and walked the 2 miles back to my barracks room. When I got there, it was completely empty, save for a bed and a 6-pack of beer in the fridge. I popped open a beer, sat on the bed, and felt like I was supposed to be happy, but I was more lonely than I'd ever been. That feeling never went away.
I'm quitting. How come? I just don't really like you guys anymore. I got a new job also, so each job requires a 2-week notice. This is extremely unprofessional on your part. Good luck. Each job Shut up, you lucky you got a text. Slaps your mom. What you doing? I'm not gonna slap anyone's mom. I love my mom to death and she would kill me if I ever slapped a woman. A picture of me and my mom. What do you think is the single greatest photograph in history? German soldiers react to footage of concentration camps. This picture of 2 engineers who hug each other knowing that they're going to die. This D-Day photo is pretty unbelievable. It doesn't feel like a world in which something so epic could take place exists any longer. The photo of Bruce McCandless floating untethered in space. Prepare to meet thy God. A bomb disposal expert walks to defuse a potential explosive device in Northern Ireland, 1970. This man fulfilling his promise to wear a green dress to his friend's funeral.